Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Gonuchari. Jamuna Tira Gonuchari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat.
Today we are going to discuss about the fourth chapter of the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We are discussing chapter 1 now, and just to get a proper understanding of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. The fourth chapter is describing the appearance of Śrī Nārada. On hearing Sūta Gosvāmī speak thus, Śaunaka Muni, who was elderly, learned leader of all the ṛṣis engaged in the prolonged sacrificial ceremony, congratulated Sūta Gosvāmī by addressing him as follows. So the discussion is going on. Where is the discussion going on? Bhagavatam was spoken. This aspect of Bhagavatam was spoken by whom? Srila Sūta Gosvāmī. To whom did he speak? To the 60,000 sages assembled in Naimisharanya. And so it was spoken at Naimisharanya. Where is Naimisharanya? Naimisharanya is, you can say, is in the Uttar Pradesh, not too far from here. Madhya Pradesh and then north of Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh. So Naimisharanya also is considered to be the center of the universe. If universe is seen as a wheel, then the hub of that wheel is vibration. So the sages there, 60,000 sages, assembled in Naimisharanya to perform a 1,000-year-long sacrifice. So there, one morning, they requested Sūta Gosvāmī to enlighten them about what needs to be done. The condition of the universe, condition of this planet they could foresee was going to be very, very difficult. Dharma will be practically lost. And now how to save that situation? Because when dharma is lost, the whole situation becomes extremely chaotic and extremely miserable. When one follows dharma, his life becomes joyful. If one rejects dharma, his life becomes devoid of joy and full of misery. So they could foresee that and they decided that something needs to be done. Therefore, they were performing a 1,000-year-long sacrifice. Sahasram samam asata. 1,000-year-long sacrifice. Then they requested Sūta Gosvāmī to speak, and then Sūta Gosvāmī started to speak. And in the previous chapter, Sūta Gosvāmī described how Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Sūta Gosvāmī described how many incarnations of Krishna in the previous chapter? 22 incarnations. And then what did he say? That there are innumerable incarnations of the Lord. Not only just 22 incarnations. Sometimes people think because there are Dashavata Stotram, there are only 10 incarnations. But here you can see Sūta Gosvāmī is describing about 22 incarnations. And then he makes the point that these are just to give some idea of different incarnations. But actually there are innumerable incarnations. Like we can see even the Purusha-avatar. Purusha-avatar, there are three incarnations, three different Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu and Kshirodakshay Vishnu. Now, how did Kshirodakshay Vishnu expand himself? He expanded himself in every single entity as well as in every single atom. Andantarastha Paraman Chayanta. In every atom also the Lord has expanded himself. So he is everywhere. He is everywhere. He is even in every single atom. So that is how inconceivable his potency is. Ekam paso rachvita savidanda koti kotisha shesha vashudhari. Although he is one, ekam paso rachayitum jagadanda, he has created innumerable universes. And then he entered in each universe and also in every single atom of the universe. This is Krishna's concept. He is there in the heart of every living entity. That is how he is. He is not only in the hearts of his devotees, although he says, Krishna says that I reside in the heart of my devotee. But actually He is in the heart of everyone, not only in the hearts of human beings, not only in the hearts of animals, birds, reptiles, insects, trees, plants. In every living entity's heart He is. That is how inconceivable He is. And won't it be wonderful to take shelter of Him? A person who has such inconceivable potency, and we are always in need of help. We always need help. Every single moment we need help. So won't it be wonderful to take shelter of such a person who is so powerful, whose potency is so inconceivable? Therefore, the important thing and the intelligent thing to do is to take shelter of Krishna. And we can ask Him, if we need something, we can ask Him. Prabhupada is saying that if we have to ask something, then we better ask Krishna, not to a demigod, or not to any powerful person. Sometimes we are in need of something, so we go to some powerful person, like a political leader, a big rich man, for help. But basically, we depend upon Krishna and ask Him for help. Asking for some favor from a demigod and asking for some favor from some material person is the same. Maybe the demigod is a little more powerful. But probably there is no need to ask for something. Demigod worship is based on that. Dhanam dehi, yasho dehi, give me money, give me fame, give me long life, give me good health. So, always asking. People worship demigods with their demands. And Prabhupada is discouraging us from doing it. He's saying, no, don't ask. Don't ask. Ask for Krishna. There is no harm. And Prabhupada is explaining, just as a son can ask from his father, and there is no harm, rather the father becomes happy. My son is asking for this. Similarly, there is no harm in asking from Krishna. Rather Krishna will be also happy. And instead of asking from the demigods or asking from somebody else, he is asking from me. Then what will happen? Our faith in Krishna will increase. That is the important. We ask from Krishna and then Krishna gives. Then our faith goes, Krishna. And in this way, the relationship develops. So, Sūta Gosvāmī described different incarnations of Krishna. And then he pointed out that Krishna is the source of all. Ete chamsha kala purusha, Krishna stu Bhagavan. And not only Sūta Gosvāmī is saying that in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, this point has been explained elaborately in various other scriptures also. For example, Brahma Samhita describing Ramadi Bhuteshu Kala Niyamena Krishna Nana Avataram Avarot Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Param Govindam. All different incarnations like Ram, Nrsimha, they are the parts and parts of Kala Niyamena Krishna. Nana Avataram Aparod. In this way, Krishna expanded into various incarnations. Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Param. But Krishna is the original Supreme Personality. And that point also has been very nicely established. How Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of God. What are the relationship between Krishna and different incarnations? Deeparichi Revati Santarama Deepayati Vignita Hetu Samana Jastat Vigevachya Cha Vishnu Tayaka Vibhati Govinda. Just as one lamp lights other lamps, and once the lamps are lit, they have the same potency. All the lamps give out the same amount of light. Yet, the first lamp is the lamp that lit the other lamps. That is the relationship between Krishna and different incarnations. All the incarnations of Krishna is Krishna himself. Have the same amount of potency, whether they display it or not. For example, as Lord Ramakrishna has 64 brothers. However, Lord Ramchandra has 16. Like different incarnations may not display the full potency, but they are endowed with the same amount. For example, the super soul. Super soul is just standing there, inactive. It is just standing there as a statue. Just like in the altar, on the altar, they are standing there. They are not displaying the potency and other qualities of such. The super soul in the heart is standing there and simply watching what you are doing. Upadrashta and Anumanta. Upadrashta means witness. And super soul, in the heart, Krishna is simply witnessing all our actions, what we are doing. And Anumanta, and he is sanctioning, fulfilling and sanctioning our desire. We desire, and he is the one who decides what should be given to us and what should not be given. He is deciding how we should also get the results of our actions. In this way, Krishna is just seated in the heart. There he is not displaying various qualities as such. Most of the qualities are not displayed. Śaunaka Rishi then said, O Sūta Gosvāmī, you are the most fortunate and respected of all those who can speak and recite. Please relate the pious message of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which was spoken by the great and powerful sage Śukadeva. In what period and what place was this first began? And why was this taken up? From where did Kṛṣṇa-dvaipāyana Vyāsa, the great sage, get the inspiration to compile this literature? Vyāsadeva's son was a great devotee. Who is the son of Vyāsadeva? An equibalanced monist, whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to mundane activities but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person. So these are the questions that Śaunaka Rishi is asking. Śaunaka Rishi, as the head of the assembled sages in Naimisharanya, is asking the question on behalf of the sages of Naimisharanya. While Śukadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloth, although Śukadeva himself was not. But they had not done so when his son had passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young lady replied that his son was purified, and when looking at them made no distinction between male and female. But the sage made such distinction. Jai Shri Radha Madhumana, Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa-dvaipāyana Vyāsa, Jai Shri How was he, Śrīla Śukadeva, the son of Vyāsa, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapur, now Delhi, after wandering in the province of Kuru and Jangal, appearing like a madman, damped and retarded? So Śukadeva Gosvāmī, although a young boy, he was just wandering around like a madman. He was in a stage which is called Avadhuta, which is also known as Paramahamsa stage. At that stage, one is beyond material nature. One is transcendental to the modes of material nature, or is transcendental to the effects of the material nature. Therefore, at that stage, one is totally unconcerned about this nature, material nature. They cannot relate to the material nature, or they do not relate to the material nature. They are completely absorbed, they are completely situated in the spiritual nature. So that's why it is, they do not, or their activities cannot be understood by the people of this material. Like Śukadeva Gosvāmī, he was not wearing any clothes. He did not have any awareness of his surroundings, like a madman. Now, a madman, because he completely is out of his mind, he lost, out of his mind means his mind doesn't function. His mind doesn't function. Therefore, he cannot, whatever he sees, his sense perceptions are not related to the mind. So he doesn't see, or he doesn't register what he sees. People are there around him, but he doesn't register. He doesn't hear them. People are abusing. People insult him. But he can't register that they are speaking badly about him or to him. Why? Because he can't relate to this nature. He lost his intelligence and faculties of mind. That's a madman. Whereas an avadhuta also acts like a madman, apparently. But is an avadhuta a madman? No. You see, madman cannot relate to this nature, their surrounding, or his surrounding, and an avadhuta also cannot relate to his surrounding, this nature. But actually they are two opposite poles. A madman he doesn't have the intelligence and ability to relate to this nature. Whereas an avadhuta or a paramahamsa is transcendental to the nature. So therefore, he doesn't relate to this. Or in simple words, we can say a madman cannot relate to the nature. Whereas a paramahamsa doesn't relate. He is beyond. He doesn't have relationship. So he is another. Now if we say the material nature is here, then the madman is below material. Whereas a paramahamsa is beyond material. One is below and the other is beyond. And two extremes sometimes appear to be alike, but they are opposite. For example, the sunrise and sunset. Doesn't it look alike? Don't they look alike? Sunrise and sunset look exactly alike, but they are opposite. So Śukadeva Gosvāmī's nature was like that, but people are thinking that he is a madman. And just the way people behave to a madman, they were trying to do that to Śukadeva. And not only to Śukadeva Gosvāmī, this is the case we have seen with many other exalted personalities. For example, Rishabhdeva is another person who did not have any awareness of his surroundings. He did not relate to this nature. But it should not be done artificially. One should not imitate this exalted person. Śukadeva Gosvāmī was in a Paramahamsa state. Therefore he didn't wear any clothes. He was moving around naked. He did not have any awareness of his surroundings. He did not care what people spoke. Now that doesn't mean that walking naked will make one a Paramahamsa. That's what actually happened. Imitating Rishabhdeva, there was a king in the province of Konka and Belka. When Rishabhdeva was there, passing through that region, thousands of people are following him. And the king thought that, oh, I am a king and people don't worship me like that, treat me like that. This person is attracting so many people, but he is moving about me. So he thought that if I do that, then people also will consider me to be a great person. So this kind of imitation is one should not imitate. It should be done as a natural development. Therefore, devotional service is extremely practical. It is practical. It is. Just be yourself. You don't have to be somebody else. Just be yourself and become be sacrificial. Be yourself. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him. He was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of the Ganges and fast until death? He was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength, and he possessed insuperable kingly opulence. Why did he want to give up everything, including life? So who is asking this question? Śaunaka Muni to Sūta Gosvāmī. So he asked first about Śukadeva Gosvāmī. So they heard, Śaunaka Muni heard about Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam spoken by Śukadeva Gosvāmī to Parikshit. So now he is requesting him to tell him the Bhagavatam, recite or explain the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So he is asking about Śukadeva Gosvāmī, and now he is asking about Parikshit. And these questions are quite relevant. Why did Parikshit do that? Why did Parikshit do that? Gave up his kingdom and went to the bank of the Ganges. Although he was such a powerful king, now why did he do that? And on the bank of the Ganges he sat down to give up his life. Why did he want to give up everything, including his life? Those who are devoted to the cause of the personality of Godhead live only for the welfare, development and happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So even though the Emperor Parikshit was free from all attachment to worldly possessions, how did he give up his mortal body, which was shelter for others? We know that you are expert in the meaning of all subjects, except for some portions of the Vedas, and thus we can clearly explain the answers to all the questions we have just put to you. Then Sūta Gosvāmī started to explain. That Sūta Gosvāmī said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyāsadeva was born to Parashar in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasudha. So this is an important point actually. There is a chronological order of 4 millennia. They are Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga and Kali. The normal chronological sequence is Satya, Dwapar, Treta and Kali. But sometimes there is overlapping. So during the regime of Vaibhashaka Muni, there was an overlapping of the 28th round of the 4th millennium, and the 3rd millennium appeared prior to the 2nd. So, Vaibhashaka Manvantara, there are 14 Manus in a day of the week. And the 7th Manu is Vaibhashaka. In Vaibhashaka Manu's time, the 28th Chatur Yuga, in the 28th Chatur Yuga, the overlapping between Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga is. Although Treta Yuga comes after Dwapar Yuga, but in that millennium, in that Chatur Yuga, the Treta Yuga came before and Dwapar Yuga came after. From the name of the Yuga also it becomes clear. Dwapar means second and Treta means third. So Satya is the first, then second Yuga actually Dwapar. Then how come it is Treta? Because there was an overlap. And when in the Vaivashaka Manvanta, the 28th Manvanta, in 28th Chaturjuga, Krishna, the Supreme Personality, is in the Dwapar, when it overlaps. And Dwapar Yuga comes after Treta Yuga, it overlaps, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the following. Once upon a time, Vyāsadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of the Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. The great sage Vyāsadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happened on the earth in different ages due to unseen forces in the course of time. So Vyāsadeva one morning saw that there was some anomaly, there was some disorder, undesirable happening. The great sage, who was fully equipped with knowledge, could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. Which age? Kali. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of man in all statuses and orders of life. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupation would be purified, and to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. The 4 divisions of original sources of knowledge. What is the original sources of knowledge? The Veda. Was divided into 4 divisions, were made separately, but the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in Purana are called the 5th Veda. After the Vedas were divided into 4 divisions, Poila Rishi became the professor of Rig Veda, Jaimini the professor of Sham Veda, and Vaishampayan alone became glorified by the Jagya. The Sumanta Muni Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with Atharva Veda, and my father, Romaharshan, was entrusted with Puranas and historical records. So 4 sages were given the 4 Vedas. And Romaharshan Shuddha was given the Purana, was entrusted with the knowledge of the Purana. All these learned scholars in their turn rendered their entrusted Vedas into their many disciples, grand disciples, and great-grand disciples, and thus the respective branches of the followers of the Vedas came into being. Thus the great sage Vyāsadeva, who is very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so they might be assimilated by less intellectual men. Out of compassion the great sage thought, it is wise that this would enable men to to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Thus they compiled a great historical narration called Mahabharata for women, laborers and friends of the twice. O twice born Brahmanas, still his mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. Thus the sage, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect, because he knew the essence of religion, and he said within, I have under strict disciplinary vow unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas, the spiritual master, and the altar of sacrifice. I have also abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplined succession through the explanation of Mahabharata. Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa-dvaipāyana Vyāsa, Jai Shri Śrī Nārada, Jai Shri Śukadeva. So Vyāsadeva was, even after doing so much, dividing the Vedas and the Puranas separately, and then writing the history in the form of Mahabharata for the general mass, so to say. For the scholars, there were the Vedas and Puranas and Upanishads. But for ordinary people, those who are intellectually not so advanced, for them he gave Mahabharata. But still his heart was not there. And he began to reflect. I have under strict disciplinary vow unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas, the spiritual master, and the altar of sacrifice. I have also abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplic succession through the explanation of the Mahabharata, by which even women, Sudras and others, friends of the twice born, can see the path of religion. I am fully incomplete, though I myself am fully equal with everything required by the Vedas. As mentioned before, this may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect being and to the infallible Lord. King Bhagavata Dharma na prayena nirupita priya paramahamsana tādeva hi achyutam priya. So this was Vyasadeva's important consideration. King Bhagavata Dharma. Bhagavata Dharma means the dharma that directly indicates the worship of the Supreme Personality. In Vedas, the other processes are indirect, applied to them. But Bhagavad Dharma is direct. Worship or direct approach, direct devotion to the Supreme Personality of God. So which means devotional service. So Bhagavad Dharma means Bhakti. Bhagavad. So he wondered, Vyāsadeva wondered, Kimba Bhagavata Dharma na prayena nirupi. I have not clearly pointed out importance of Bhagavata. And this, which is Priya Paramahamsana. Priya means very dear. To Paramahamsana, I described about the Paramahamsa, the most exalted devotees of the Lord. Ta eva achyuta priya. Ta eva hi achyuta. And it is also dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Achyuta. This Bhagavad Dharma, which is dear to the devotees of the Lord, not only devotees, but the most exalted devotees of the Lord, and Bhagavad Dharma, which is dear to even the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is it because I did not narrate it clearly or describe about it? Nirupita. properly indicate, direct, is that why that my heart is dissatisfied? As mentioned before, Narada reached the cottage of Kṛṣṇa-dvaipāyana Vyāsa at the bank of South Saraswati, just as Vyāsa was regretting his defects. At the auspicious arrival of Śrī Nārada, Śrī Vyāsadeva got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving him veneration equal to that given to Brahmaji, the Creator. So, thus ends the 4th chapter of the 5th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled The Appearance of Śrī Nārada. So this chapter in this way describes how Narada Muni came to the appearance of Śrī Nārada. And the next chapter will describe the discussion between Vyāsadeva and Narada Muni, and how Narada Muni instructed Vyāsadeva about glorifying the Supreme Personality. So, did everybody understand about the chapter? That 4th chapter? 4th chapter is very simple. First few chapters were quite complex. It's full of important instruction, but this is more or less just narration. Vyāsadeva, the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Śaunaka, asked Sūta Gosvāmī to describe how Śukadeva Gosvāmī, who was the most exalted personality, he was wandering around like a madman, and then Parikshit Maharaj, who was such an exalted personality, such a powerful king, he was the glory of the Pan dynasty, and he was the ruler of the entire earth planet. He was so powerful, and he was so noble and generous in his nature. So why did he all of a sudden give up his kingdom and went to the bank of Ganga and decided to give up his life? And what did Śukadeva Gosvāmī? Instructed. So then Sūta Gosvāmī started to describe from the beginning. What is the description of Sūta Gosvāmī? Vyāsadeva appeared in this particular millennium when Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga overlapped. So without the Vedic scriptures, dharma will be lost. And how will people derive their spiritual wisdom? So considering that they divided the Vedas into 4 branches, Rig, Sham, Yajur and Atha. Then he instructed those Vedas to 4 of his disciples. Koila, Jaimini, and Vaishampayan, and who was he gave Rigved to Koila, Shamved to Jaimini, Yajurved to Vaishampayan, and Angida, Atharvaved to Angida, and the 5th Veda which describes the history and narration of the Puranas to Brahmaharsham. Romaharshan Sūta was the father of Ujjain, who is described. Romaharshan Sūta was killed by Balaram. Balaram was upset with Romaharshan. Balaram and Romaharshan Sūta was reciting, he was instructing Purana, narrating the Purana, the sages. At that time Balaram appeared and everyone offered respect to Balaram, but Romaharshan Sūta did not get up and show respect. So Balaram just took a glass and touched him, and Romaharshan Sūta but his son, Ugrashrava, was the greatest. So when Vyāsadeva divided the Vedas in this way, but still his heart was not satisfied. He was feeling deep discontentment in his heart. Therefore, he was wondering, since he did not describe Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam or Bhagavad Dharma properly, clearly, is that why his heart is not satisfied? Bhagavad Dharma, that is very dear to the Paramahamsas and very dear to the Supreme Personality of God. And at that time when he was thinking that way, Śaunaka Muni appeared, and Vyāsadeva offered him great respect to Śaunaka Muni and greeted him. So, does anybody have any question? Right?
And what is really meant by totally surrendered? Totally surrendered to Krishna.
Totally surrendered to Krishna means there is no other endeavor, no other desire. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. Abhilasha means desire. Anya means different or no other. When there is no other desire but to serve Krishna and no other recourse, take shelter of other than Krishna. Akole Ishwar Abhushya Rokhive Krishna Vishashva. You have that implicit faith that Krishna will give you, Krishna will protect you. And accepting Krishna as the Goptritya Bharam, accepting Krishna as my only Lord and Master. So that is 100%. Sometimes, say for example, say one has become sick, right? And he goes to a doctor, right? But another person who became sick, and he thinks, why should I go to a doctor? I'll simply depend on Krishna, right? So, he simply depends on Krishna. He doesn't take any other course. In this respect, I just thought of two persons. Srila Prabhupada, he didn't want the doctor to come and treat him. Prabhupada's thing was, what will this doctor do? He simply wanted to depend on God. And another person is Prabhupada's sister, Ishima. Once they were in a parikrama in Navadvip, and Prabhupada's sister's son got cholera, Cholera is a very deadly disease. I mean, now cholera is actually practically eradicated. But there was a time when there would be epidemic of cholera. Thousands of people would die just out of cholera. There was no treatment, no medicine. Cholera means death. And so Prabhupada's sister's son got cholera while they were having parikram. And naturally everyone was very worried. But Prabhupada's sister, they gave him some, she just took some Charunamrita and gave the Charunamrita to her son, and her son became cured.